So one of the people that advertised, right, Councilwoman Delia Farquharson. We send out a thing for everybody when they advertise. We ask them to send PDFs and JPEGs, ask them to send high resolution, high res, 300 DPI. If you have a graphic person or something doing your ad, they would know what that means. The reason being is because it loses something from digital to print. So Delia, who is running for a write-in in the mayoral race in Mount Vernon, took out a full-page ad, but she sent her graphics as a Microsoft Word document. Anybody who knows anything about graphics knows that the resolution when you send it on as a Microsoft Word document is not going to be nearly as great as if you send it as a JPEG or a PDF, and the resolution will lose something. So I then emailed the councilwoman letting her know. I set it up. She didn't have it set up or anything. I set it up. I showed her what the page would look like. And then I also requested that for a higher, crisper, sharper resolution, you might want to send a JPEG or a PDF. In turn, the councilwoman approved the ad and then paid for it. So the paper drops yesterday, Friday. It's everywhere this weekend. Yonkers got theirs today. Tarrytown and some areas, White Plains, they'll be getting theirs on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. New Rochelle got hit yesterday and today. Mount Vernon got hit yesterday and today. Friday and Saturday. So anyway, the paper comes out, and I guess she sees it. And if you look at her ad as opposed to the several other ads in the paper, which include Yonkers Councilwoman Shanae Williams, who else? Cupcake Cuties ad, the Alzheimer Association, the Gun Violence Awareness Week ad that for the event that happened today. Shout out to Cynthia Turnquest Jones. WVOX ad, which is in black and white. The meet and greet for Cupcake Cutie for Andre Wallace. The Michael Dolan golf outing and dinner. Tasha Diaz, city council candidate for Yonkers. Alex Eisman, Westchester County Court Judge. Judge Tawal, he's our guest today. I hope I pronounced his name, Tawil. New Rochelle Council candidate David Peters, and so on and so on. If you go through the paper, and especially Joyce Brown and Danielle Scholar, both running for city council in Mount Vernon, you will see a certain crispness and sharpness in their ads because they sent their ads as PDFs, or a few JPEG, but most of them were PDFs. And you can see the difference. The problem is when you deal with people that don't know what they're dealing with. I gave instructions, and instructions were not followed. So the councilwoman called me last night after 11, demanding a refund, and said that I purposely sabotaged her ad and blurred it to sabotage her campaign. Okay. She demanded a full, and she said she never got the emails and all this and all of that. I sent her copies of it. I screenshotted it for her. So then she posted on Facebook last night, somewhere around midnight. My mistake. I've never advertised in Black Westchester before, and if you see the blurry ad, you know why. I'll never do it again, right? So I shared the screenshots of the emails because if someone calls you out in public, you should correct them in public. If we talked on the side, and I explained it to her. That wasn't good enough, so she decided to have the need to call me out in public. So, this thread has been going on and on and on, and I'm not going to really get too far into it, but I just wanted to explain that. So, since Delia Farquharson, and I've been very nice, we've covered all of her write-in campaign, her issues were being knocked off the ballot by the Board of Elections, her fight to get back on the board, the problems she had with the signatures. We covered all of that. Had her on the VOX show, everything. Showed her mad love. Let me just put it this way, and this is not being mean, so we're gonna state facts. Last 2015, we had the mayoral race in Mount Vernon. Ernie Davis, who was the current mayor at the time, did not win the Democratic nominee. his campaign, his people put on a write-in campaign. This is a current mayor, a 4-term mayor, who, while some people were ready to see him go, was still very popular with a lot of people. And he barely got 300 signatures. Now, had Delia not done this, I probably wouldn't have this kind of conversation. Real talk, Councilwoman Farquharson has very little chance, a snowball chance in hell, in actually winning this election.
How do you spell her name?
Delia, Delia, Farquharson, Farquharson, which she wants you to know because you're going to have to be able to spell that. So, regardless of the fact that Ernie Davis, a sitting mayor, only got 300 votes, and Reggie Lafayette, the Board of Election commissioner, said there has never, ever been a successful write-in campaign in a mayoral race. Ever. So if a 4-term sitting mayor can only he got about 300 votes. A councilwoman in her second year as councilwoman, who has a name that is very hard to spell. And one more time for everybody, is DeliaFarquharson, just in case anybody wants. Oh, and it's you got to put the M, middle initial M period. That's how you spell it. Just in case anybody, is really in there. People have a right to vote for who they want to vote for. So let me just spell it one more time. Delia.
And you still get advertising. You see how
right. Farquharson. That's how you spell it. She got Facebook page, YouTube pages, Instagram pages. She got videos. She explains to you how to do it, the whole 9. So obviously the calling me out was because you're not getting enough publicity, and so your supporters wanted some publicity and wanted your candidacy to be mentioned, because some guy named Jordan that works in your campaign called me and got mad because I wrote an article about the mayoral race and I named the 4 candidates that were on the Democratic primary. He called and said, well, after you put her ad in there, why is she not in the article? Because she is not on the Democratic primary ballot. If you call the Board of Elections, they will give you 4 names. The 4 names, and this article was written after the debate they just had at Grace Baptist Church, and it was a breakdown of all the candidates and somewhat about the debate. So, obviously, Jordan and Jeff Monroe and all of you and Delia Farquharson, obviously you're looking for a little more publicity. So let me help you out. She's running as a write-in. Her name is DeliaFarquharson. So anyway, there's a saying that's been going back since the days of Mark Twain. That's when they used to write newspapers with ink. And it says, never go after someone who buys ink by the barrel. That means people that did newspapers. Right now, we don't do it that way. It's digital. So the remix of that, and you've heard me say it before, never go after nobody who has a pen and a microphone. And guess what? I have both. So leave me alone. Stop going. And let me just lastly, so Lorraine came to my defense, and she posted that AJ did nothing wrong, and basically she, in her opinion, felt that Delia was dense, Dense. So a supporter and a good longtime listener of the show, Jeff Monroe, Geoff, Jeff Monroe, basically had a problem with the word dense. And basically he wrote 22, I'm exaggerating, it might have been 10, over and over, longly worded comments about
the Queen.
About Lorraine using the word. Yes, Donna Nolan, we're on Facebook. I guess you didn't see us yet. Yes. So anyway, I said that to Jeff today, like, we get your point. There's no need to say it over and over and over and over. Lorraine has a right to her opinion, like everybody else does. And as you feel that she attacked a sitting city council person, what you're doing is attacking a former councilwoman who made history as the first Hispanic councilwoman in Yonkers. So as you feel Delia deserves her respect, Lorraine deserves your respect. That's all I'm going to say on the party, because I know Jeff personally, and I don't really like to call people out. Like Jeff, if he has an issue, he can call me personally, and we can agree to disagree, which we often do, but he's a very cool person. I got a lot of respect for him, and you know, he's active in the community. But on this issue, I had to say something, and we didn't ever have to have this conversation on the radio show, but when you put information like that on Facebook, you in an effort to damage my brand and my credibility. I mean, you could have hurt my credibility and made people not want to advertise with me because they feel like that was the case. And if you look in the paper, everybody's ad looks good. That handed in what they were supposed to hand it in, the way they were supposed to hand it in, the way it asked for it to be handed in. So that's all I have to say. I'm done. I will never bring up the issue again. If they want to continue the conversation on Facebook, they can. And only because Jeff decided to have a few words on Lorraine, I am going to turn the mic over to her. She's on the screen right now. Say hello to the people.
Hey, I'm wearing my shades because I don't want to be noticed.
You're stunning shades.
I'm scared.
So, real quick, I think I don't really want to expend too much more attention. I gave them all the publicity they're going to get, but you were personally attacked as far as you felt, and you have the right to address that.
Actually, no. I thank you very much for addressing it. I have nothing to say. I really don't know who Jeff or Geoff or Jeffrey or...
It's Jeff. It's just spelled with a G.
Godfrey. I don't know who he is. He doesn't know who I am. Honestly, couldn't care less what he thinks. I'm not going to entertain him. One of the reasons I'm not entertaining is because you asked me not to entertain the nonsense, because you know me, I can go full-blown and make them wish they were never born if I had to, but I'm not going to go there. And one thing I'm going to do is stop telling me to apologize, because Lorraine doesn't apologize to nobody. And I'm not apologizing to nobody. I felt what I said what I felt. I believe what I feel. And, you know, Delia put in the word dense up in the dictionary, and it explains what dense means, and I totally agree with it. You know, and I'm just gonna say one last thing. If you want to look up a word, look up the word deflect, because that's what they're trying to do, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Other than that, I'm enjoying this. Okay, you know, it's not bothering me.
So shout out to everybody that's tuned in. Shout out to John.